Hey guys, it's Paradise, and today I'm going to show you the best weapons in Battlefield 6, currently over the beta weekends. There's a few different choices for some of the categories, and you don't want to waste your time leveling the wrong weapon, going through all the attachments, only to find out that it's not the one that actually kills people the fastest, or is just straight up better. There's a bunch of really good choices and a few not so good ones, so what we've actually done, as you can see here, is we've gone and leveled up every single thing to the maximum level of 20, tried out a bunch of different attachments, unlocked all of the guns to see what is going on. We've got the Carbines, we've got the SMGs, we've got the LMGs, we've got the DMRs, we've got the Sniper Rifle maxed out. There's only one choice on that, so we can actually let you guys know what exactly is worth your time. We'll start off with the Carbines, and each of these actually have their own merits. So when you're first starting out, you might want to experiment with these because you can't go too wrong with each one. But for the other categories, there's a clear winner that we'll get into. I'm actually going to start with the M4A1. This is one that you will have access to earlier on, and it's actually a pretty solid choice throughout the entire beta weekends, holding its own against pretty much all of the other weapons. This is really good. It has very minimal recoil, it's easy to control, it's reliable. This is a good all-arounder, no matter what class you're on, unless of course you're playing the closed playlists, then you'll only be able to use this on certain classes. Now we'll go over the attachments real quick. I don't want to linger too long on each weapon so you can see which one's best, which to aim for, and the attachments that we recommend. Now I always recommend putting a suppressor on where possible. Even though the comps will, as you can see, increase your hip fire or your precision or your control, these suppressors are really good because they reveal less information on the minimap when firing, and they are quieter, meaning when you go on those flanks, when you're on a kill spree, you're less likely to be hunted down by other players, so suppressors are all around a good choice in my opinion. For barrels, there will be some commonality between picking a barrel in different weapon categories, because certain barrels will actually increase your time to K or TTK because they increase your projectile velocity, as you can see here, your muzzle velocity, which affects how fast your bullets travel and connect to a target. You can see these other barrels will actually lower the velocity amount, so we'll always prioritize barrels that actually give us higher bullet velocity or projectile velocity so we can connect our hits to a target faster. If you have two people hitting the same weapon, hitting each other, but one has faster velocity, the faster velocity one will win because the bullets will hit first. If I'm shooting you with my M4A1, you're shooting me with yours, and you have a different barrel with a lower muzzle velocity, I will hit my bullets into you first, so I'll beat you in that exchange if everything else is the same. For the actual under barrel, you can see here we have a few different choices, and although this 6H64 vertical grip is the most expensive, this is the one you want to go for. You can see the other ones give us less precision, less control. The mobility is not too much of an issue here, but you do want this one to just help you manage the recoil on it a bit more. Remember, bloom is in the game as well, so the longer you spray while aiming down sights, the more deviation will happen on your bullets all around kind of randomly. So you kind of want to burst fire if you can, but obviously if there's a bunch of people on the screen, this weapon's still pretty good, and unless you're super long range, it shouldn't matter too much. For the actual magazine, what I've gone for here is the 36 rounder because we can't go up to the 40 rounder, and 36 is enough to get the job done, but having a bit more than the default is really nice. Now for the actual ammo types, and this is another trend across all of the weapons, you're going to want to look for soft point, and there is one above this for certain weapons that we'll get to soon. But the soft point ammo is really good because it increases the headshot multiplier. You can see down here in the very bottom right. We go to the other ones, we go to 1.35, but with this one, we gain 35% more headshot damage. This is huge, so you want to be going for headshots as you do anyway, and this means they'll die super fast when you have that ammo in there. Now, we don't need to worry about too many of the other slots here, unless you want to sort of mix up the playstyle and go for more hip fire with a red dot or a green dot. But for the actual sight, it is down to personal preference. I really like this 3x sight, but you might want to play around with the 2.5 times, maybe even some of the red dot sights. It's up to personal preference. They mostly all cost the same anyway. Only going down to iron sights will save you some attachment points, so I would say pick the sight to your preference, but I like the 3x, so give it a go. But that's it for the M4A1. It is a reliable choice all around. Now, before we go over some of the other carbine choices, because there are some good ones here, let's jump over to the SMGs, because you will be surprised. You can see here I've maxed out both of the actual SMG choices to level 20, and the MP7 here is a really nice gun, one of my favorites, and it's still viable. You can totally go for this if that's more to your playstyle, but the SGX not only is unlocked by default, so you can get leveling and using it right away, which is really handy if you're just starting the beta, but it actually has a unique attachment here once you get it to level 20, which sort of changes the whole thing up. There's almost two different styles of play for this. There's this build, and then there's a different build where you want to change out the grip, maybe even change out the dot sight here and add on an actual sight, because we're using iron sights here, which you may think is surprising, but it is an SMG, so we want to be close range. So let's go over everything, because this one is a really fun one. So we have the suppressor on. Of course, we don't want people to be fully aware of us. We want to try and get as many kills before people can react. So the suppressor is going to be really good there and help keep you off the minimap a little bit. Now for the actual barrel, as you can see, once again, we've prioritized the one with the extra projectile velocity. So 502, if we go to any of the others, that dramatically lowers by pretty much 100. So the 8-inch extended here is going to be a must pick. Now for the underbarrel, this is unlocked at the very last level of the weapon. So you won't be able to use this right away, but this compact hand stop completely changes the playstyle of the gun, allowing you to sprint while firing, and that is hip fire firing. You can't ADS while doing this, I don't believe, or at least it doesn't feel like that. But while you're literally just sprinting and running, you can just hit fire super accurately, because we also here have the more expensive costing green dot sight on top that really juices up our hip fire accuracy up to 62, which is really, really good. These two together allow you to run around and shred people without even ADSing, and you go at full sprint, so it's hard for people to keep up with you. I recommend slapping on the 36 round mag so you have more bullets in the mag, so you can take more people down in one burst. And once again, as you can see, we have the soft point for that extra headshot damage multiplier. So definitely use the soft point, definitely use the extended mag, definitely use the velocity increasing barrel. You could go a comp if you want, but I really do like the suppressors. And then these two together combo for a hip fire run and gun playstyle. But you could swap these two out and slap on a sight if you want to, and if you prefer going a bit more slow pace. But it's an SMG, so you probably want to give this one a go. People are shredding with this. It's super, super fun, and I've really been enjoying it. Again, the other SMG is viable, but I think the SGX is the winner out of the two, to be honest. Now what we're going to do is actually jump over to the LMGs. There's two options here. The KTS is viable and almost has zero recoil, but when it comes to reliability and time to kill, I actually think the L110 is the way to go, and this is the default one that you'll be getting on the support class. So first of all, for the attachments, of course, as you know, I like the suppressor. You can change this out. Of course, the other options like the brakes and the compensators will increase the other stats like precision, which can be really good. But if you are like me and you prefer being a bit more sneaky and staying off the minimaps and making less noise, then go for that. The actual barrels itself, there is going to be one clear winner here, once again, because of the velocity of your rounds, which will affect how quickly you connect those hits to enemies. So the 4.65mm barrel is the one to go for. For the actual grips, I've gone for the most expensive one here because it gives us more precision and control, but you can go for the full angled if you want to sacrifice a little bit of that for more mobility, which does help. It's kind of up to you. It's an expensive choice, but it really does help and make the recoil basically completely manageable or negligible. But again, if you want to go for the full angle, you totally can do that. That is up to you. But again, it is a personal choice. For magazines, it's another personal choice here. You could rejig everything and go to 200 rounds, but it's super overkill. 100 rounds is going to be enough. You don't really want to go for that unless it's your thing, you know, you can make it how you want. We don't have soft point here, so we don't really need to worry about changing the ammo type, but the tungsten core ammo does actually give you some armor penetration for shooting things like helicopters, but you lose stats like control and precision. So I just really don't think it's worth it. I prefer the full metal, but if you prefer a conquest and shooting helicopters, by all means change it. And then for our sight choice, go with what you like. It's personal preference. I really like the 3x here, so take your pick. But this LMG is really good and absolutely shreds. Now let's switch on over. We'll just quickly look at the sniper rifle. There's only one choice. You don't really have a lot of options here. I'll let you just have a quick peek at my attachments. I won't actually run you through them because we have a separate video going over every single thing here and what they do and what it means. You have one choice here. Snipers are really good. They can still one-shot at distance. There's like a sweet spot to them, so really nice, and you can learn more about that one on the channel if you want to. But let's go back over to carbines for a second now, because there's two other carbines to talk about. There's the AK-205 and the M417A2. Both of these are very good and viable in my opinion. The M417A2 is probably the second best in my choices here. So let's take a look at this one. Now the M417, sorry, is really nice because it has pretty decent damage per bullet, even though you have a lower magazine size. So the damage is pretty good. The recoil is there, but not too bad. And with a few attachments, it really rounds it out. Once again, we have the suppressor on. Keep you sneaky, keep you off the minimap, make your shots a bit more quieter. We have the 15 costing 16.5-inch rifle barrel. for that projectile velocity, as you can see, we go down to 480 or 600. This one gives us 750. Massive difference, massive improvement. Trust me, you want to be using those bullet velocity barrels, if you ask me. I've got the cheapest vertical grip on, simply because it gives us a little bit of a stat boost to precision and control, but it allows us to squeeze in these other attachments here because I have the expensive 25 round magazine in, which you're going to want because the other ones, as you can see, have 20, which that extra 5 rounds makes the difference, especially when you're fighting 2 or 3 enemies at once and you really need to control your bullets. Of course, it does have a soft point, and we will be using that wherever possible, simply because, we get that extra headshot multiplier, so that extra 35% extra headshot damage is needed here, and with limited bullets, hitting a headshot absolutely wrecks enemies. With the magwell flare, because this allows us to reload while aiming, slight quality of life. You could take this off and perhaps increase your grip if you want to. It's kind of personal choice if you want to do that and change the grip, that's up to you. And then, of course, for the sight, as you guys know, I've been loving my 3 times. I've also been loving the red dots and stuff like that. Even this 1.5 red dot's nice, so pick the sight of your choice. I've found that this 2x sight is pretty nice because I've been playing a lot of domination, so not too long sight ranges are needed. So this is the M417. Really, really nice carbine, and we'll quickly go over the AK205 because the carbines seem to be doing pretty nicely in the beta so far. Be interesting to see how everything changes in the full game when, you know, there's a rebalancing and stuff like that. We already know some nerfs are coming. So the AK205, although I perhaps wouldn't recommend it against those other carbine choices or the upcoming assault rifle choice, it is still one to try out because it might work for your playstyle. This AK has almost no recoil. Its precision stat, as you can see, 79 is super high control at 69 as well. This thing has almost no recoil, has a generous magazine size, has decent okay rate of fire, but kind of low damage compared to some of the other options. So its time to kill isn't amazing, but there is something that redeems it, and that is the fact that it comes with the synthetic tip. Ammo, as you can see, it has soft point, which we usually have been using because that's the best for some of the other guns, but this one actually gives you the upgraded version that gives us a 2.10 times headshot multiplier. This means headshots do crazy good damage. And when you pair that with the fact that it has almost no recoil, it means this thing can shred if you're very good at headshots and you don't like managing recoil. For the other attachments, of course, we have the suppressor on. Kind of gone on over that a few times, as you know. None of the other barrels affect velocity, so we can just keep the standard. We have a standard grip on because we're running out of points due to the high cost of the synthetic tip ammo. And I have the fast mag just because at least we get a little bit more reload speed and we can't afford to go up to the extended mag. And for the sight, again, pick your poison. It's totally up to you. We got the 2.5 times that I really like. We got the 3 times that I really like. It's totally up to you which one you want to slot in. But this one is worth pointing out because of this very powerful synthetic tip ammo if you are a headshot savant. Now, there's a few other things to talk about. There's an assault rifle and a DMR, so let's go over to the assault rifle. So in my opinion, there is one clear winner here, which is the B36A4 or the G36 if you know it as that. Although note, it is unlocked at character level, your mastery level 20, which will require some playing of the beta. So if you really don't want to use carbines and you want to go assault rifles, you could use one of the other choices. But out of the 3, we found this one to be the more consistently better one. Successful time to kill, easier to control, all around just better. And I just love the actual look of this assault rifle as well. So you really can't go wrong by choosing this one if you actually get to level up to the point where you can use it. You will see more and more people running this as they start leveling and unlocking it. So the attachments, of course, the suppressor. Again, you could go for another choice if you're not a suppressor person, but again, we've gone over why we like suppressors, so I would slot that one in where you can. Obviously, for the barrel, once again, barrels always come down to, in my opinion, the best in slot will be the projectile velocity, and this one gives us the best at almost 1,000 projectile velocity. Really, really good, even despite its slightly slower rate of fire, but it does have decent damage to compensate for that. The grip we've just put on the ribbed vertical as we have the slots for it, and it's slightly better than the lower 10-point equivalent. And then for the magazine choices, again, look at how expensive these are. You could go up to 40 or 45. You'd have to rejig everything because it's so expensive to actually slot these in. But 30 is enough to get the job done, and most shooters you get used to using 30 anyway. This is another weapon that has the soft point as a choice, so you always want to prioritize that for that extra headshot damage multiplier, so you get that juicy 1.7 instead of that 1.35 when you have the soft point in. And then with your leftover points, you can slot in whatever sight you like. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of the 2.5, the 3 times. But the red dots are pretty good too, so pick your poison and use what you like depending on the map that you're in. But these are the attachments that we found are good for this one, so these are the ones that we'll recommend. Now we'll look over to the DMRs because there's 2 options in the beta right now. And out of these 2, there is a clear winner when you unlock them both and try them both out. That's going to be the SVK. Now for a DMR, you're going to want to kill in as few bullets as possible, pretty much regardless of everything else. And you can see here the M39 has 42 damage, while the SVK has 60 per bullet, so a huge difference. This is night and day difference. Don't even bother with the M39 in my opinion. Just wait until you unlock the SVK and go for that if you want to be a DMR person. So let's take a look at the actual attachments over here. You can see we've slotted in the suppressor. It is a costly 30, but it is worth it, especially since you're going to be shooting from medium to far with a DMR anyway. Don't take it in CQB unless you're really feeling confident. Now you can see here there is no option here apart from the default 10 pointer here for increased velocity, so I wouldn't actually recommend going to the other barrel. You don't need hip fire, you want that velocity, especially over long range, so don't actually change the barrel there. For the grip, we've gone for the 35 pointer simply because you want to be able to manage those shots in between as quickly as possible to land a second hit and finish off an enemy. And for the magazine choices, this other option here is only 5 points, but actually gives you faster reload speed. So again, that's really good. You can't go more than 10 in the mag, but 10 is enough for a DMR anyway. If we look at the bullets, this is another case where it's a choice between the regular or the tungsten for the bullet penetration, but it doesn't affect our actual damage. Pretty good if you're shooting helicopters, stuff like that, but we lose precision and control, so I actually prefer to keep full metal jacket on if you're prioritizing infantry fights. And then slap on whatever scope you want. Remember, it's a DMR, so you can actually use the 6 times or the 5 times, but I am really enjoying the 3 times and the 2 times. Again, it's up to your preference, but this is the DMR out of the 2, in my opinion at least, that you want to go for. And we do have an honorable mention. Surprise, surprise, it's the shotgun. The shotgun is insane right now in the beta. It's already confirmed to be nerfed, but the nerf isn't in the beta yet. So you can run around with this thing and tear it up. It one-shots at close range, it one-shots at medium to close range, it 2-shots at medium range. It's super powerful. You don't even need to actually unlock any of these attachments or rank it up. The default version of the shotgun is also strong enough to hip fire one-shot and ADS one-shot enemies. I will just point out, if you are going to choose to run around and do that, of course, have fun, do what you want, but people will hate you for it. The shotgun is so crazy right now. But hey, it's in the game. The balance patch isn't out yet, so it's in the game. You can do whatever you want. The shotgun is nuts. But it will be nerfed. It's already confirmed and nerfed. It'll be interesting to see what changes in the future. But if there are any weapons that you guys really like that you think should have been on this list, tell us down in the comments below. But this is based on our opinion, our testing after leveling everything to the max and testing out all of the attachments. Tell us below if you have any extra tips that you've been discovering or useful things or spots on the map or anything like that, so we can all learn together as a community. And we will be back with more Battlefield 6 videos coming your way very, very soon. Here at Arix Gaming, we're 2 friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 26.
Our goal is to keep the videos as concise as possible by cutting out any of the fluff and focusing on what really matters with high quality videos.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favorite games coming very, very soon.